This is the second half of section 1.4. We're going to solve quadratic equations using the quadratic formula. You should know the quadratic formula. If you don't, you need to know it now. Learn it, make sure you memorize it. If you want to hear me sing the song, I will do that. If you don't want to, you can pause now and fast forward a little bit. The formula is negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So to help you remember that, you can go negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac, b squared minus 4ac all over 2a, all over 2a. Okay, so how's this going to work? Before we can do this, we have to make sure all of our equations are in the standard form. So again, that's the ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. If it's not in standard form, then you're not ready to determine your a, your b, and your c. Okay, so this one is in standard form because it's equal to 0. A is 2, b is negative 4, c is 7. So we substitute those numbers into the formula. X equals negative, and then b is also negative. So you've got a double negative on your 4, plus or minus the square root b squared. So you're going to square your negative 4. You need to put parentheses around the negative 4 because if you square, there's a difference between this and this. Okay, the formula is telling you to square the negative with the 4. So that means you need to make, it's going to end up being a positive 16 minus 4 times a is 2, c is 7, all over 2 times a is 2. So let's simplify that. X equals positive 4 plus or minus the square root 16 minus 4 times 2 is 8, 8 times 7 is 56, 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, so x equals 4 plus or minus the square root 16 minus 56 gives me negative 40 all over 4. Now I have to simplify this, so remember the negative inside comes out, that means you can pull out an I, and then the 40, what can we do with that? That's 2 times 20, 2 times 10, and 2 times 5. So you've got square root of negative 1 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 5. And that's a 2 that can come out. So we can say that we have x equals 4 plus or minus, take out this 2 and take out the I, and that leaves 10 inside all over 4. Almost done. This can be simplified. The 4 here and the 2 here, all that needs to be simplified right there. So these numbers all have a common factor of 2, so we can break this down as x equals 2 plus or minus I square root 10 all over 2. Okay, and that's our answer. 2 plus or minus I square root 10 all over 2. All right, let's go to the number 2. What are the solutions of x squared minus 34x plus 289 equals 0? Okay, so before we do this, I just want to come over to the calculator for a moment. I'm going to go back to my y equals. I'm going to clear this out. I'm going to type in this equation. X squared minus 34x plus 289. I'm going to graph. Looks like I need a bigger window, so I'm going to go to zoom. I'm going to go to 6 for zoom standard, and then I'm going to try it. Okay, still not showing me anything. Zoom out some more. 3 for zoom out graph. Okay. Well, it's just not showing up on here right now, so we'll just go on and solve it. What I was trying to get at, though, is that the solutions that we're solving for here are actually the x-intercepts of your quadratic equation. All of these, if you were to graph them, are going to be a parabola of some sort. And these values that we're finding for our x just correspond with those x-intercepts there. So anyway, let's come back over here. We're going to do A is 1, B is negative 34, C is 289. Go to x equals negative b, so that's going to be negative 34 plus or minus the square root negative 34 square minus 4 times a is 1, c is 289, all over 2 times 1. So simplifying, I get positive 34 plus or minus the square root. What is negative 34 square? Alright, so parentheses, negative 34 square, 1156. And it should be positive. Then I've got 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 289 gives me 1156. All over 2. Alright, so inside 1156 minus 1156 is 0. Alright, and then we have x equal 34 plus or minus the square root of 0 is 0. So we can just say that this is 34 over 2. There's no reason to add or subtract a 0 from it. Okay, so x equals 17, and that's it. So that's why I couldn't find it on my graph. Let me see if I can find it now. X squared minus 34x plus 289. I'm going to graph it. But we need x equal to 17, so I'm going to adjust my window. I'm going to do my x max at 20. Graph. And we should see it coming down. There it is right there. So x is at 17. This has got just one single intercept. Number 3. What are the roots of x squared minus 8x equal 33? Roots are just another way of asking for the intercepts. It's the same question, just worded a different way. Again, I'm going to start by setting this equal to 0, so I have it in my standard form. So x squared minus 8x, I'm going to subtract 33 on both sides, equals 0. And that looks like we can factor it. 33 looks pretty simple. 1 times 33, 3 times 11. Looks like I can use 3 and 11. So I can do x squared. Let's do 11 negative, 3 positive. So negative 11x plus 3x minus 33 equals 0. Pull out the x. It gives x minus 11. Factor out the 3. Leaves x minus 11. And now pull out x minus 11 times x plus 3 equals 0. So x minus 11 equals 0, or x plus 3 equals 0. X equals 11, or x equals negative 3. And that's it. Those are my answers, 3 and negative 11. Oh, shoot. I forgot. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm getting tired. I was supposed to do the quadratic formula. Okay. So let me do that over again. That's how you would factor it. Okay. Let's do it again. So we still put it in standard form. X squared minus 8x minus 33 equals 0. So A is equal to 1. B is negative 8. C is negative 33. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a is 1, c is negative 33, all over 2 times 1. So x equals positive 8 plus or minus the square root 64 plus, what is 4 times 33? 132. All over 2. So x equals 8 plus or minus square root of 32 plus 64 is 196. All over 2. Okay, let's see if 196 is a perfect square. Second square root 196, that's 14. Square root of 196 is 14. So x equals 8 plus or minus 14 over 2. All right, now we're going to break this up into 2 separate parts. So x equals 8 plus 14 over 2, or x equals 8 minus 14 over 2. 8 plus 14 is 22. 22 divided by 2 is 11. So x equals 11. 8 minus 14 is negative 6. And negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. So 11 and negative 3 are my answers. Is that what we had before? Yep, 11 and negative 3. So that's how you'll use the quadratic formula to solve these types of problems. And that's it for 1.4.